Hello guys, welcome to Fictional Vortex. So in this video, we will see the what if Naruto had the power of Anos voldigoad Naruto X Harem. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's dive into the story. Chapter 1. The king takes his seat. Moonwashed clouds drifted above Kuo Academy, silvering the campus rooftops and setting every pane of glass aglow. At precisely midnight, the barrier stones around the show OL flared a pentagonal lattice that usually shimmered like faint aurora when stray yokai brushed too close. Tonight the light bent inward, as if space itself inhaled, then snapped outward with a soundless concussion. A barefoot boy stepped through the broken shimmer. He looked no older than 17, broad-shouldered beneath a charcoal uniform that hadn't existed a breath earlier. Blonde hair rough, led as though in a breeze only he could feel. His name tag Naruto Uzumaki, transfer caught the moonlight in red script that hadn't been inked by human hands. Inside the staff building, Sona Citri's pay. N froze 3 centimeters above her paper. Every word she and Rias Gramori had woven over Kuo vibrated at once, chiming like struck crystal. Sona's glasses fogged on the inside, ice blossomed across her teacup. Then the pressure vanished, replaced by a velvet hush. So, she thought, heart hammering. The rumors were understatements. Homeroom, 8 a.m. The bell rang. 32 students sprang upright in choreographed boredom, only to falter when Naruto strolled through the door behind their teacher like he owned the oxygen. His smile was casual, almost lazy, but something about the set of his show. Elders made desks feel like pews in the presence of royalty. Class, the teacher said, forcing brightness, our new transfer. Uzumaki Naruto. He inclined his head, gaze sweeping the room, not looking for approval, simply cataloging. Good to meet you. Hiba Yuto's polite aura tightened. Kaneko straightened from her slouch, ears normally hidden, twitching beneath white hair. Akino's lips curved into a fox smile laced with lightning. He's beautiful, a girl whispered. He's terrifying, thought half the class in the same breath. Only Rias Gramori managed composure, though her crimson hair flickered like a banner caught by invisible wind. Beneath the floorboards, magic circles spun self-defense programs keyed to the Gramori crest. Rias watched each sigil scramble, fizzle, and kneel. No alarm triggered. The network recognized a sovereign. First break. Naruto found the courtyard deserted save for a cherry tree shedding out of seasoned petals. He stretched, cracked his neck once, and let gravity ripple outward. Leaves hovered midfall, wrestling with a force older than seasons. A scream shattered the calm. A lesser devil, one of Riser Phoenix's hired thugs, had cornered a second year by the fountain, bathing crooked wings in sulphurous fire. Naruto's blue eyes flicked over. He didn't rush. He appeared, hand resting on the devil's shoulder like an old friend greeting another. You're dripping embers on her shoes, he said. The thug spun, fist blossoming with hellfire. Naruto exhaled. The flame folded inward, obeyed the breath, and vanished like a candle snuffed in vacuum. He tapped the devil's sternum once, no more pressure than a heartbeat. Bone echoed like a drum. The thug's wings crumpled, power seals searing into place. Fly again when you learn courtesy. Naruto nodded to the stunned girl. Run along. Class'll start. She bolted. Naruto flicked stray sparks off his cuff, then stepped back beneath the cherry tree just as Rias, Akino, Hiba, and Kaneko sprinted into view, too late to witness anything but a kneeling devil trembling at Naruto's feet. Rias gathered composure with admirable speed. Transfer student, are you hurt? Wasn't my fight. His tone was warm, gentle yet unyielding, iron under silk. He turned to the devil. Apologize. The thug croaked, throat cinched by unseen chains. Sasori. Naruto released him. Power seals unlocked. Wings regained shape but drooped in shame. He staggered away. Akino's violet eyes glimmered electric curiosity. You diffused him without violence. How? Elegant. Naruto offered a half smile. Violence is loud. Authority whispers. His gaze met hers, and the teasing glint in Akino's stare faltered beneath raw gravity. Then he winked, and the moment melted into playful spark again. Rooftop view worth sharing later. Her cheeks tinted rose. Perhaps if you like storms. Love 'em. Kaneko approached, small but fearless. She sniffed once, catching scents no human could. You smell like infinity. Naruto knelt so their eyes were level. And you smell like moonlit milk and quiet strength. We good, kitten. Kaneko huffed, unsure if flattered or annoyed. She found a rice cracker handed to her palm, exactly the flavor she hoarded in secret. Her golden eyes widened. Rias watched all of it, mind racing, heart thrumming. When Naruto finally turned to her, she felt as though she faced an emperor in a chess match where she hadn't yet placed a single piece. She extended her hand anyway. Rias Gramori, welcome to Kuo. An honor, princess. He brushed her knuckles with lips that barely made contact. Heat shot through her veins like phoenix fire. Their magic circles flared, overlapping sigils weaving before snapping apart as if the universe blinked at something too bright to watch. Akeno cleared her throat. Hiba feigned interest in a distant cloud. Naruto straightened, grin easy. See you after class, club president. Oh, we'll talk, Rias said, voice smooth ice over restless sea. Lunch occult research club room. Crimson. Drapes sighed in air that smelled of sandalwood and old tomes. Naruto lounged on the coffins of A, swirling tea he brewed himself spiced with a leaf that didn't belong to this planet. Rias perched on the armrest opposite. You arrived without a magic circle. That is, rare. I walk my own paths. Care to state affiliation? Her tone was polite, her aura coiled like a velvet whip. Naruto sipped, eyes twinkling. With whichever faction understands respect. Kaneko munched cracker after cracker beside him, already on her third. Akeno sat cross-legged atop a desk, stormlight flickering between her fingers as if drawn to his heartbeat. Even Kiba relaxed, sensing no malice but measuring a gulf of power wider than rivers. Before Rias could press, the club door banged open. Riser Phoenix strode in, entourage blazing. There you are, my darling. Wedding rehearsal is. He froze. Naruto set his teacup down, gaze lazy but unwavering. Riser's flames dimmed. And who are you? Ground rules, Naruto said softly. You don't barge into a lady's sanctuary uninvited. Especially my friends. Friend, Rias echoed, betraying only a flicker of delight. Riser recovered arrogance. I am her fiancé. Phoenix blood outranks whomever you. Naruto stood. Power pressed the air flat. Candle flames leaned away. Blood doesn't crown kings, will does. One heartbeat. Riser's entourage drew flammelances. Naruto flicked his wrist. Every plume shattered into petals of inert ember that drifted down like autumn leaves. Silence swallowed the room. Riser felt his throat close, the same unseen chains that had bound his thug earlier. Apologize, Naruto said. Riser tried to spit curses. They collapsed into a strangled, Sasori. Naruto released him. Now leave. They did, stumbling. Sona Citri chose that moment to step through the still-open doorway. Clipboard against her chest. She surveyed the room. Rias flushing, Kaneko nibbling in awe, Akeno shining electric excitement. Naruto relaxed as if nothing had happened. Uzumaki, she said, voice composed. Student council would like a word after classes. Security concerns. Happy to chat. He tipped an imaginary hat. Sona's gaze lingered. Gravity tremors when he yawns. She'd felt it from across campus. Who are you really? She nodded once to Rias, retreated, mind alight. Dusk rooftop. Clouds stacked on the horizon, bruised purple and gold. Akeno stood at the railing. Lightning spheres orbiting her palms like tame fireflies. Naruto joined her, sleeves rolled, tie loose. Beautiful storm, he said. She glanced sideways. I like dangerous storms. He stepped closer. Thunder cracked. Then you'll love me. Akeno's laugh was low, delighted. Lightning arced between their fingers before dissolving into soft heat. She traced a spark across his jaw. Confident, accurate. Their kiss tasted of ozone and honey. The sky split, but rain held off, as if heavens themselves paused to watch. Below, Kaneko perched on a tree limb, tail flicking behind illusions. She pretended not to care yet sniffed the electric air with faint approval. Rias observed from her window, hand over racing heart, not jealous, but exhilarated. A king did not belong to one subject, he gathered kingdoms. Evening student council office. Sona closed the blinds. Tsubaki activated soundproof seals. Naruto leaned against a bookshelf, arms folded. You override our wards, Sona began. Your wards are polite, he said. They bowed. I bowed back. Azazel's sigil flared on Sona's desk crystal, a private call. She ignored it for now. Are you a threat to campus peace? Only to those who disturb it. Tsubaki's hand rested on her sword hilt. Intentions aren't enough. We require. Naruto straightened. The room stretched like rubber around him, furniture drifting centimeters off the ground. He smiled apologetically and suppressed the ripple. Everything settled. I'm here to study, he said. Maybe make friends. Learn ramen recipes. Keep war from your doorstep. Sona met his eyes and saw age, not weariness, but epochs of unyielding certainty. She exhaled. Very well. But Kuo's peace is fragile. Help me protect it. Done. Their handshake was brief, charged, respectful. From a corner, Tsubaki noted Sona's faint blush, eyes narrowing in academic curiosity blended with a trace of envy. Midnight Warehouse District. An abandoned depot sighed under rain. Valley Lucifer stood atop a shipping container. Divine dividing wings fanned wide. Naruto arrived without flash, hands in pockets. You felt my challenge. Valley's grin was sharp. How strong are you? Strong enough, Naruto replied. Prove it. Valley launched, white scales blurring. Naruto raised one finger. Boom. Shockwave. Cargo crates vaporized. Rain evaporated midair. Valley hung frozen 3 meters away, eyes wide at the invisible wall. He grinned wider. Perfect, Valley whispered, exhilaration drowning fear. You're a mountain I can climb. Naruto lowered his hand. Then grow. Valley's laughter rippled through lightning-rent clouds. He vanished into the night, resolve forged anew. Naruto watched water condense on ruins, head tilting. From rooftops across the district, silhouettes watched Grigori spies, church exorcists. Even a golden-winged figure cloaked by holy scripture. Naruto turned, meeting each gaze without blinking. None approached. High above, thunder rolled like a drumline for a coronation. Starlit walked back to dorms. Kaneko fell into step beside him, hoodie up. You made Rias happy. Good. He offered the last nakosnak. She accepted, cheeks round. I won't thank you. He chuckled. Wouldn't dream of asking. They walked in comfortable silence. Fireflies sparked along the path, drawn to residual traces of power. Kaneko spoke suddenly. Storms, cats, prodigy devils, none of those scare me. She looked up. You do. But I like you anyway. He ruffled her hair gently. Fear's only bad when it stops you protecting what matters. She nodded once, fierce. Rias's paved bedroom balcony. She watched Naruto out on the quad. Moon framing him in silver crown light. Each step left ripples in space. She could feel inside her bones a chord of destiny tuned to his heartbeat. Rias had once believed herself a princess of a great house. Now she realized she'd been a child commanding chess pieces while a king patiently waited beyond the board. A thrill, equal parts liberation and challenge, sang through her. She touched her lips where phantom heat of a someday kiss lingered. Checkmate isn't the end, she murmured to the night. It's the start of a new game. Below, Naruto paused as though hearing her. He looked up. Their eyes met across distance and darkness, and for one breath the world felt small enough to cup in a hand. He smiled, not claiming, but inviting. Rias smiled back, heart ablaze with future wars won side by side. First light seeped across Kuo's athletic field, washing dew silver over running tracks and goalposts. Most students still slept, but the occult research club had gathered for special conditioning. Rias called it training. Naruto called it breakfast exercise. Kiba sprinted the perimeter, sword drawn, each step blurring with devil speed. Akeno floated overhead, thunder whorls coiling around her parasol. Kaneko crouched centerfield, toes digging through turf that already looked like it regretted existing. Asia and Xenovia watched from the benches, Asia clasping healing talismans. Xenovia gripping Durandal's hilt with rising eagerness. Naruto stood facing them, hands in pockets. Rias raised a crimson flare and they attacked at once. Kiba struck first. Steel met empty air. Naruto having sidestepped before motion began. Akeno's spears of plasma converged, but Naruto rolled a lazy hand and the lightning braided into a halo, harmlessly orbiting his wrist like jewelry. Kaneko launched from below, an uppercut packed with enough mass to crater stone. Naruto caught her fist, momentum vanishing as though absorbed by an abyss. He set her lightly on the ground again. She blinked. How? Naruto ruffled her hair. Your center of gravity tilts a breath left when you commit. Anchor it. Kaniko's cheeks bloomed pink. She nodded, determination flaring. Kiba tried a feint, slashing through afterimages. Naruto flicked 2 fingers. Ping. The blade froze mid-swing, sheathed in crystal stasis. Motion shock traveled up Kiba's arm and toppled him into grass. Akeno descended, violet eyes narrow. That stasis is cheating. Naruto shrugged. The universe is my rulebook. She smirked. Cat's mug. Then break this. Wings of shadow and lightning unfurled, deluging the field. With stormlight that sang like gospel in reverse. Naruto's pupils dilated, twin galaxies turning. He whispered, pretty. The storm inverted, funneling back into Akeno until a single raindrop hung above her palm. She stared, mouth parted, as the droplet glowed gold, then settled on her skin like a kiss before vanishing. Silence. Rias lowered her flare, awe-warring with exasperation. I was hoping for sparring, not a physics lecture. Naruto bowed theatrically. Lesson 1. Efficiency. Next time bring problems worth solving. Kiba laughed despite bruised pride. Understatement of the decade. Asia rushed over, healing glow dancing across Kiba's strained wrist. Her eyes flicked shyly to Naruto. Is it wrong that I feel safe? Safety's a choice, Naruto said gently. Hold it tight. Zenobia leaned on her sword. You're either a walking paradox or a battlefield miracle. Possibly both. Depends which day you ask, he replied. Rias clapped to regain command. Breaks over. Showers. Then classes. Uzumaki principal's office after homeroom. Paperwork hell. Lead the way, Princess Crimson. She rolled her eyes but couldn't stop the smile tugging her lips. Principal's office. Mid-morning. Stacks of enrollment documents littered the desk, magical and mundane copies alike. The principal, an elderly human compulsion charmed to ignorance, cheerfully rubber-stamped every page. Naruto slid forward. Rias handled sigil verification, while Sona parsed council seal requisites with machine precision. Paperwork melted under Naruto's casual reality editing, forms self-filled, ink dry before quill touched parchment. Sona raised a brow. If you'd like a part-time job in admin. No wages big enough. He winked. Rias slid the final scroll into its tube, sighed triumphantly. Done. Naruto leaned close, voice low. I owe you one royal favor. Blue eyes met her sapphire, current arced wordlessly. Rias straightened, cheeks tinting. You can repay me tonight. There's a party. Tell me dress code. He pushed back, calm mask disguising the glimmer of anticipation. Sona watched the exchange like a chess theorist witnessing an impossible gambit. She cleared her throat. Party meaning. Riser Phoenix is in town early, Rias replied. Casual tone failing to hide tension. Engagement dinner rehearsal. Naruto's smile thinned. Ah, etiquette lesson it is. Library alcove. Early afternoon. Shelves whispered with centuries of secrets. Candle globes bobbed overhead. Naruto lounged on a window seat, ancient tome on his lap, but he read none of it. Instead, he listened. Quills scratching, hearts beating, distant sighs of page turns. The symphony of a place that loved knowledge. Footsteps approached measured, echolite. Sona Citri. She folded her arms over a physics text. Skipping lunch. Feeding curiosity. He tipped the tome toward her. Dimensional topology and infernal gateways. Chapter on stabilizing multirealm corridors is quaint. Sona sat opposite, adjusting glasses. Show me a correction. Naruto plucked a pencil, sketched 3 glyphs in the margin, then drew a single line connecting them. The glyphs lit, hovering above the page as a miniature gate that rotated like an orrery. Sona's breath caught half academic ecstasy, half visceral thrill. The gate dissipated, leaving paper unchanged but knowledge etched into her mind. She realized he'd gifted her more than a demonstration, he'd offered trust. Knowledge equaled power. Thank you. Naruto smiled softly. Build something beautiful with it. Their eyes lingered, intellect meeting infinity. An unspoken pact formed. Amen. G-dust motes dancing in stained glass sunlight. Off-campus cafe late afternoon. Rain spritzed sidewalks. Naruto sat beneath a striped awning opposite Revel Phoenix, who nursed a mug of spicy hot chocolate that matched her golden eyes. She'd slipped away from her brother's entourage, curiosity outweighing protocol. You hum when you stir, Naruto observed. Revel startled, then flushed. Old habit. It's charming. She sniffed, hiding a smile. You hum too soundless, but the air vibrates. Naruto tilted his head, Maybe the universe likes music. Conversation flowed. Culinary spells, sibling headaches, jealousy's bitter tang. Ravel found herself laughing more than she had in months. When she finally glanced at the clock, panic fluttered. I'm late. Riser will. Cover stories ready. Naruto flicked his wrist. A conjured box of gourmet lava cakes appeared. Tell him you scouted dessert options. Ravel blinked at the confection. You're dangerous. 2 waistlines. He stood, umbrella unfurling from nothing. Walk you back. She hesitated, then looped her arm through his. Rain parted around them, droplets shifting course, ensuring not a single bead touched her curled hair ribbons. Ebony. Ing. Phoenix Manor, Kuo Satellite Estate. The engagement rehearsal dripped opulence, crystal chandeliers, marble colonnades, waitstaff in phoenix-embroidered livery. Noble devils mingled, feathers of flame marking lineage. At the hall's heart, Rias stood beside Riser, smile polite but eyes distant. Riser's voice boomed theatrically as he greeted each guest, yet cracks appeared, confidence fraying after yesterday's humiliation. He scanned the entrance obsessively. Naruto arrived unannounced, stepping through wall shadows as though they were doors. His tuxedo shimmered black on black, lapels edged in. Silver thread that spelled his name in demonic script for those with eyes to see. On his arm, Ravel glowed in a sunset gown, dessert box now gift wrapped and floating behind her like a loyal drone. Conversation halted. Flame-wrought violins squeaked to a stop. Air thickened with politics, fear, intrigue. Naruto guided Ravel to her mother, bowed, then approached Rias, ignoring Riser entirely. May I steal the bride-to-be for a dance? He asked. Riser's jaw clenched. Rias's smile turned breathtaking. With pleasure. They waltzed, no music necessary. Each step tapped cosmic rhythm. Chandeliers swayed in sync. Guests felt the urge to kneel but feared court gossip more. Midspin, Naruto murmured, ready to end this farce. Rias's heart hammered. Please. Music struck up at last, but flamenco instia. D of waltz. Riser's attempt to reassert control. He strode onto the floor, flames swirling cloak-like. Enough. You. He jabbed a finger. Leave my betrothed. Naruto released Rias, turned lazily. Ask nicely. Riser's aura surged hot. I challenge you to single combat. Winner claims Rias. Denied. Naruto interrupted. Rias claims herself. Gasps rippled. The Phoenix matriarch stepped forward, fury barely veiled. Young man, you insult noble traditions. I redefine them. Naruto's smile vanished. A hush fell that felt like the moment between thunder and strike. He snapped. Soundless. Flame across the ballroom extinguished. Yet the room brightened, lit by golden embers that formed a sigil above Naruto's palm. Authority. Fire obeyed him, not Phoenix blood. Riser staggered as his wings sputtered, orange quills turning ash white. He sank to one knee, an involuntary genuflection under pressure older than Devilkind. Across the hall, noble airs twitched, forced downward by ripples of dominion. Naruto spoke, voice soft. Carrying to every corner. Kneel to respect, not fear. Rise when humility replaces hubris. Silence stretched. One by one, flames rekindled, cool sapphire instead of orange. Riser looked up, tears of humiliation mingling with awe. He bowed his head fully. I apologize, Rias. For everything. Rias inhaled sharply, truth ringing in his words like silver bells. She turned to Naruto, eyes shining. He offered his hand. She accepted. They walked through parted, guests no longer stepping around obstacles, but leading a path none could block. Behind them, applause burst, first tentative, then roaring. Phoenix matriarch dabbed her eyes, undone by grace overpowering bloodline ego. Observation balcony. Later, city lights shimmered beyond manicured gardens. Rias stood at the railing, Naruto beside her. Fingers intertwined but not rushed. You overturn centuries of politics without violence, she whispered. Violence is loud, he echoed with a smirk. She nudged him. Plagiarist. Flatterer. They laughed, tension dissolving into firefly-flecked night. Rias sobered. I don't want a savior. I want a partner. Naruto lifted her hand, pressing lips to knuckles. Then stand with me. Kingdom shared. Wind teased her hair. She leaned in. Flash of angelic light cracked overhead. A portal yawned open, revealing gold-armored figures. Heavenly observers cloaked under non-aggression pacts here to verify rumors. Archangel Remiel hovered, eyes like starforged steel. So the tyrant returns in mortal guise. Rias stiffened. Naruto squeezed her hand. Enjoy the show. Remiel leveled a flaming spear. Your reign ends before it begins. Naruto released Rias gently, stepping forward until holy fire lapped his tuxedo cuffs. He inhaled. The spear imploded into dust, its remnants spiraling into his lungs as harmless motes. He exhaled. Second lesson tonight. Authority whispers. Remiel recoiled not from pain, but from existential vertigo. He backed through the portal, it sealed with a disgruntled pop. Naruto turned to find Rias glowing with adrenaline and something brighter. She rose on toes, brushed his lips with hers brief, blazing, irrevocable. The air between them smelled of storm-struck roses. Pav switch. Sears X Lucifer remote astral chamber. Holographic runes projected the evening's events. Sears X watched brother-in-law aspirant annihilate an archangel's weapon with a breath. Beside him, Seraphal sipped bubble tea. Kawaii tyrant. Nay, Sears X frowned thoughtfully. Are catastrophic. Depends where his heart lies. Azazel's voice crackled over crystal link. His heart. Impossible to measure. I'm more worried about the heartbeats accelerating across 3 realms right now. Gabriel's transmission chimed, serene yet wary. He absorbed holy essence without corruption. Sears X leaned back. Prepare contingency Ragnarok clause. But, observe first. I sense an opportunity. Seraphal's grin widened. I sense romance. I'm booking front row seats. Sears X groaned. War or wedding, maybe both. Kuo dorm rooftop. Midnight. Naruto sat swinging legs over the ledge. Kaneko appeared silently beside him, offering canned milk. He accepted, cracked the tab. She eyed him. Phoenix, rumors say you're a devil's devil. Rumors exaggerate. You scare me less now. She tapped his shoulder. You protect Rias. I protect everyone who chooses light over shadow. Kaneko sipped milk. Light can burn. Then I'll teach it to warm. She nodded, satisfied, and curled beside him. Stars wheeled overhead. Far across the city, holy wards shimmered then dimmed a sign of CE. Celestial discussions concluding without resolution. Naruto closed his eyes, listening to nighttime heartbeats. Rias dreaming in crimson silk, Akano humming storms in her sleep, Sona drafting new ward arrays. Valley sparring against illusions of him, Revel baking 3 a.m. cake under suspicious butler eyes. Balance shifted. Destiny gears clicked. Naruto smiled, ancient and boyish all at once. The king had taken his seat. The board would never be the same. Dawn broke palagold over Kuo, and the chill that drifted through the academy hallways felt heavier than ordinary morning air, as if every brick soaked up last night's surge of dominion and now hummed imperceptibly beneath the paint. Most students sensed nothing, yet in scattered corners the gifted and the sensitive paused mid-step, puzzled W. Hen the lights seemed to brighten just because one new transfer smiled in passing. Naruto, hands shoved in his pockets, strolled the main corridor as though he had all the time in every realm. He greeted senior girls, fist-bumped the track captain, offered a lazy salute to the choir who practiced before class. No pressure, no riptide of magic, only the echo of possibility drifting behind him. 2 doors down, Sona Citri and her entire council finished rigging a fresh ward lattice triple-anchored, reverse polarity seals meant to hold even dragon rank strikes. Tsubaki exhaled relief. Before she could relax, the lattice flickered, then reshaped itself, locking by 2 additional runes not in any grimoire. The sigils pulsed once, as though winking. Sona looked up just in time to catch Naruto's playful wave through a gap in the crowd. Against irritation, the corner of her mouth quirked upward. Show off. Lunch period found the Occult Research Club yard transformed into a miniature festival. Revel had rallied the Homie C committee, parading trays of phoenix-spiced yakitori so mouthwatering even Kaneko abandoned her stoic posture in favor of scarfing 3 skewers at once. Akano set up a booth that shot bursts of harmless lightning into bottles of mineral water and impromptu energy drink that sold out in minutes. Rias, presiding in a crimson parasol's shade, basked in the camaraderie she'd always dreamed the peerage would enjoy. Naruto drifted from station to station, low-key orchestrating, a stabilizing pulse behind the grill so nothing charred, a casual swirl of wind so Akano's lightning never strayed. A tiny silence bubble so Asia's healing blessings could be handed to shy underclassmen without public scrutiny. He let the others shine, careful not to steal center stage, careful but not tentative. From the sidelines, Zenobia watched him with warrior appraisal mingled with something softer. Eventually she strode up, Durandal slanted across her back. You ignore me. I savor entrance moments, Naruto replied, eyes twinkling. So savor this. She thrust forward a paper plate stacked with blackened, sizzling fish, her attempt at native cuisine. It looked barely edible. Naruto accepted without flinch, bit into the charred crust, and smiled in genuine delight. Zenobia blinked. You like it? It tastes like conviction, he said. Conviction's a flavor only the brave can pull off. She colored fiercely. Conviction needs refinement. Then teach me your recipe, he countered. We'll refine it together. For the first time since losing her church, Zenobia laughed a brief, surprised bell of a sound that made several first years glance over in wonder. After classes, a hush spread through town. Buses halted at flashing red lights that wouldn't turn green, cell towers dropped signal for precisely 11 minutes. And every pigeon on the church spire took wing at once. People blamed a solar flare. In truth, a strike squad of rogue extremists exiled from Rome had ipped across the border of Kuos barrier, desperate to claim the rumored Devil King reborn, and barter his head for absolution. 32 operatives marched in formation along the riverside park, blessed bayonets glowing ominous blue. Naruto arrived before the police tape went up. He materialized between willows, Kaneko beside him finishing the last crumbs of her snack. You sure? She asked, voice tiny but steely. I promised Sona a quiet campus, he said, brushing crumbs off her hoodie. Quiet means cleanup. Kaneko cracked her knuckles, tail lashing beneath illusion. Fast, faster. They stepped from shade to path. The exorcist squad halted, commander barking an order that died when Naruto's gaze found him no killing intent, just the steady weight of oceans layered over time. A single bayonet clanged to pavement. Kaneko blurred forward, fists flicked, joints locked, and 12 exorcists dropped unconscious before breath could turn to scream. Naruto raised a palm, catching point-blank angelic cannon fire. The shell collapsed into harmless petals of glass, raining in glitter that reflected terrified faces. He spoke once. Go home. Half the squad broke instantly, shoving comrades in blind retreat. The commander, trapped by fanatic dread, lunged. Naruto merely stepped aside. Kaneko swept his legs, clipped his chin, and sent him sprawling. She looked up for approval. Naruto winked. You anchored your center. She beamed small, fierce cat, absolutely certain the universe had just been set right. Word of the thwarted incursion reached the underworld faster than mortal networks could reset. In a vaulted council chamber ringed by luminescent glyphs, Sears X Lucifer heard both reports, one from his sister, flushed with pride, and one from a scout who confessed he couldn't see the techniques Naruto used, only feel the space around each move vanish, as though reality penciled out sections to skip ahead. Sears X studied a floating mosaic of battlefield images, frowning at the elegance of it all. No gore, no property damage, each extremist neatly bound in a runagrid Sona's council had been able to claim credit for. Cleaner than diplomacy, more effective than terror. Beside him, Seraphal swirled her wand, conjuring heart-shaped fireworks in mini projection. Too cool. If you don't hurry, Rias will monopolize him for her future commercials. Sears X pressed fingertips together, or for something more permanent. Azazel, joining via feather screen, chuckled. If the kid truly carries Anos's core, wedding bells are the least of your worries. Anos loved to break rules just by existing. Sears X leaned back, which is why we study twice before we strike once. He traced a glowing sigil labeled Ragnarok Claws, still inactive. But if we ever do strike, we'd best not miss. Night draped velvet over Kuo. Rias, dressed in a scarlet off-shoulder gown, lit candles around the old oratory near campus, her favorite quiet place. She'd invited Naruto for strategy discussion. But anxiety fluttered. Was it too forward, after last night's kiss on the balcony? She almost startled when the candles flared brighter, revealing him leaning against the choir rail, watching her with warm amusement. I didn't even sense you, she whispered. Wouldn't be much of a surprise if you had. He stepped close, the scent of cedar and mountain air following. Strategy topic. She steadied her nerves. The Phoenix contract is dissolved, but political shock waves will hit soon. I'll need to show strength and benevolence. Lesson 3, he said, taking her hand. Strength is benevolence. If you wield it so others don't have to. Rias searched his eyes. Do you ever doubt? Only when deciding ramen toppings. She laughed light, heartfelt. The sound echoed off stone arches. I never imagined a king would make me laugh over noodles. I plan to do worse, he teased, drawing her closer. Ninja karaoke, for instance. The kiss they shared then was slower, deeper one that explored possibilities rather than seized them. Candle flames leaned inward, casting a single conjoined shadow on the wall. Up in the rafters, Akeno sat cross-legged, unseen, lightning crackling softly at her fingertips as she watched. She wasn't jealous. Lightning never envied flame, it simply waited for its turn to flash across the same sky. When the kiss broke and Rias rested her head on Naruto's chest, Akeno whispered to herself, "Storm's coming, beloved king. Don't forget who dances in thunder beside you." Outside, wind rattled stained glass panes, an omen or a blessing, no one could tell. Far beyond those walls, deep in a cavern older than devils, a chained colossus stirred. One glowing eye cracked open as ancient sigils bled crimson and ash. Somewhere a fanatic choir began chanting the forgotten name Trihexa. Threads that had slept since time's dawn shivered awake. Rooftop again, very late. Naruto leaned against the railing with Akeno on one side and Kaneko curled catlike on the other. Rias arrived last, hair loose, bringing cups of steaming tea. They drank in companionable quiet, city lights blinking below like watchful souls. A shooting star streaked overhead then arced back, overing as a mote of white fire until Naruto caught it between thumb and forefinger. He passed the tiny, swirling comet to Kaneko. It morphed into a glowing yarn ball, making her eyes go huge and delighted. Akeno received a sliver of the tail flame, which spun into a crackling earring shaped like a lightning bolt. Rias's portion became a thin silver circlet settling across her brow, the gem pulsing in time with her heartbeat. None of them spoke of loyalty or oaths. The gifts said plenty. Below, the great gym clock told midnight. Naruto finished his tea, set the cup on the rail, and regarded 3 of the girls who already occupied so many of his past lives' empty spaces. Tomorrow we'll move faster, he said. Hold on tight. Rias nudged his shoulder with hers. We'll keep pace. Akeno's playful smirk softened. Lead on, Tyrantkin. Kaneko yawned, leaning against his side. Feed me snacks first, he chuckled, conjuring a fresh packet of Nikosnacks from thin air and tossing it to her. She caught it without opening her eyes. The wind shifted. Somewhere in the night, 3 factions waged war while ancient doom flexed broken wings. Around Naruto's little circle of candlelit teacups and comet gifts, an almost invisible boundary formed, the first ripple of a kingdom being born not by conquest, but by shared heartbeat. High above, the moon stood witness, silver crown over a throne newly claimed. Chapter 1 End. Chapter 2 Storms, Songs, and Silver Wings. 2 weeks bled into summer, and Kuo Academy had never felt so alive or so restless. Students spoke in conspiratorial whispers about lightning that hushed itself at roll call, about a transfer who could predict pop quizzes 3 periods early, about a student council president whose newest ward lattice glowed like aurora under the floorboards. Rumor merged with myth so rapidly that by the time the real myths arrived, envoys from every major faction, most of Kuo didn't flinch. They merely craned for a better look. That morning, the world delivered 3 legends at once. First came Seraphal Leviathan, descending onto the courtyard in a cyclone of pastel ribbons and broadcast sparkles. The magical girl pose was meant to disarm, but the pressure rolling off her candy-striped wand told every devil with instincts that the Mao's smile could choke storms. A heartbeat later, Archangel Gabriel alighted atop the library's rose window. She folded gold-tinted wings so gently the stained glass never rattled, then offered a benediction so luminous even atheists on the track team wept for reasons they couldn't name. Finally, Azaz L crash-landed in a spray of gravel at the bus loop, shrugging off smoldering feathers as though personal re-entry without a permit was an everyday errand. He tipped imaginary sunglasses to an audience of stunned freshmen and announced, "Hate long lines at customs." Naruto watched from the roof, one hand wrapped around a can of melon soda, the other lazily sketching sigils in the air, the same Kazuha L flick that might bend gravity or fold dragon fire depending on how boredom struck. At his side, Akeno reclined on a deck chair she'd magicked into existence, parasol tilting just enough to keep sun from her eyes. "You're famous," she teased, watching the envoys triangulate on the main building below like chess queens vying for center board. "I'm an excuse for political tourism," he corrected. "They came for each other. I'm the souvenir photo." Akeno's laugh crackled with static. "Then let's give them a postcard they'll frame." The domain of diplomacy, also known as Classroom 32, had been pped of desks and lined with a ring of magic null seals strong enough to bottle a small nuke. Ria stood at the center in her pristine Kuo uniform, red hair shimmering like a battle flag newly unfurled. She'd rehearsed a speech all night. But when the three great powers walked in together, she felt the script melt under the heat of history. Seraphal squealed first, hugging Rias so fiercely both sets of crimson hair tangled. "So grown up." Quote, "Seraphu, air." Rias gasped. Gabriel intervened with a serene smile, gently extricating them. "Peace be upon this meeting." Azazel, checking his phone, chimed in, "And snacks be upon this meeting." Did anyone else skip lunch? The Mao, the Seraph, and the fallen governor stood in a triangle so tense it might have shattered if not for the sudden hush that rolled over the room like a tide receding before tsunami. Naruto entered. No fanfare, no crack of thunder, his mere presence muted every heartbeat by half a beat. He bowed, but not deeply. Kings didn't stoop, they acknowledged. Seraphal's eyes widened, not in fear but childlike wonder. "Ooh, he's shiny." Gabriel's hand drifted to her breastplate, fingertips brushing the sigil of Michael. "So much silence inside one's soul," she whispered. Azazel pocketed his phone with a low whistle. "And I thought Valley had an ego." Naruto smiled, equal parts warmth and inevitability. "Welcome to Kuo. Shall we talk storms before they break?" They talked for 1 full hour, though no journalist could ever report what was said. Seal circles spun, subspace folded, and somewhere in the middle Akeno served tea so flawlessly even Seraphal forgot to sprinkle glitter over diplomacy. The gist, however, traveled fast through faction grapevines. No doomsday ultimatum, yet no treaty either. Merely an understanding that a new axis had formed. When the envoys departed, each carried gifts. Seraphal tucked a single origami crane into her sleeve. Its paper shimmered between cotton candy hues, folded by Naruto in under 1 second. It beat its wings once every 3 heartbeats, a metronome of possibility. Gabriel walked away wearing a bracelet woven from 3 rays of dawn. None saw it take shape, it simply existed. He moment she pledged goodwill to Kuo's students. Azazel left munching taiyaki conjured straight from Naruto's palm. "Tastes like betrayal," he joked, and Naruto replied, "No, innovation." That line would fuel Grigori think tanks for months. 2 days later, the Kuo Academy Summer Festival opened its gates and the rumor mill combusted. Rias's peerage spearheaded the event, but Naruto's fingerprints dusted every booth. Tilt-a-whirl. He repurposed a gravity well into a thrill ride. Shooting gallery. Illusion bullets that detonated into chrysanthemum fireworks. Goldfish scoop. Actual gold once every 100th catch. Because why not tempt capitalism? Asia and Xenovia managed the first aid tent. They expected sprains and heatstroke. They did not expect Naruto to arrive mid-morning carrying a snow height dove whose wing dangled by a scarlet thread. He knelt, wordless, and every lamp under the striped tarpaulin dimmed as if bowing. Asia placed her glowing hands over the wing, Xenovia steadied the trembling bird. And together they watched flesh and feather knit in seconds. Asia's eyes sparkled with unshed tears. "You brought it to us even though you could heal alone," Naruto finished. Stren. GTH hoarded is worth less than hope shared. Xenovia felt something shift, like hearing scripture in a new dialect that somehow made more sense. She covered it with a gruff nod, but her heart hammered. 10 minutes later, she saw him again, this time at the culinary contest booth where Ravel stirred ramen broth while Kaneko chopped toppings faster than human sight. Naruto stepped in only to taste, no DDING approval that made Ravel's cheeks flame hotter than the burner. Across the quad, Akeno's karaoke stage crackled with electric energy. She dared Naruto to duet. He picked a classic Enka ballad, voice low and smooth, almost shy until the chorus. Then he let power seep between notes, and the speakers reverberated with something older than music. The crowd forgot to clap, they simply breathed. He song ended on silence so perfect one could hear the flutter of festival flags in distant breeze. Naruto bowed first to Akeno, second to the stunned audience, then hopped off stage as though he'd merely tested the mic. Somewhere in that daze, Kokubile chose to invade. First came black feathers, drifting like mourners, confetti across sunset sky. Then ruptures of light split the clouds, jagged halos turned inside out. Rimmed in burning scripture, students screamed as shadows descended, grim Atraphim wielding jagged spears pulsing with stolen dragon scales. Kokubile materialized above the Ferris wheel, wings ragged yet vast, eyes boiling with war-hungry madness. Come, children of three realms. Prove peace with your gore. His voice ruptured windows. Steel buckled. Naruto finished tying a banner to the ringta's stand. He looked up, expression mildly annoyed. Break timing. Poor. Kokubile hurled a lance of condensed star matter. It should have vaporized ground for a mile. Naruto flicked a coin 100 yen, minted last year. The lance struck coin, folded, and vanished into it with a whisper. The coin landed in Naruto's palm, its edges glowing molten for a breath before cooling. A hush. Then Kokubile screamed, not in pain, but disbelief. He conjured 10 lances, blessed by supernova fragments. Naruto dropped the coin into his pocket, dusted hands, and strolled forward. Far below, Akeno's eyes glowed electric amethyst. Rias shouted orders, peerage scrambling to evacuate civilians. Valley, who'd arrived to taste festival food, now watched from a popcorn stand, grin manic. Naruto stepped onto thin air, each footfall chiming like a temple bell. He reached Kokubile at eye level and spoke 3 words, surrender your rage. Kokubile laughed and spat a curse older than Babel. Naruto sighed, drew a circle in midair. The lances halted, points bending toward their maker like iron filings to a magnet. Kokubile snarled, forcing them forward. Naruto turned his circle into a spiral, and the weapons collapsed into a whirlpool of light that compressed to a marble. He flicked the marble into Kokubile's chest. Chains of silver wrapped angelic limbs, fusing to flesh. The Grigori traitor crashed, through 2 clouds and a festival banner, landing at Rias's feet bound, panting, alive. Silence shattered into cheering so loud the ward lattice trembled. Kokubile's capture turned the festival into legend. Azazel arrived breathless. Third Taiyaki forgotten when he saw his rogue lieutenant chained in runasteel sized for kaiju. What did you do? Naruto shrugged, handing him the 100 yen coin. A microscopic universe swirled inside a sealed pocket dimension holding Kokubile's armada of lances. Azazel gaped, then laughed until tears streamed. I'm naming this the Uzumaki Standard Model. Physics departments will riot. Rias approached, cheeks sun-kissed, eyes gleaming with pride and something warmer. She leaned close. You made peace look easy. Practice, he said, and good company. Abruptly, Naruto's shoulders tensed. He looked skyward. The sun dipped behind the athletics dome, yet a second shadow, massive and metallic, eclipsed the afterglow. Valley sensed it too. He crushed his popcorn bucket in excitement. Who dares interrupt my rival's encore? The sky tore open, dimensional rift bleeding neon circuitry. Out marched an army of mass-produced holy dragons, alabaster exoskeletons, seraph jets blazing. Eyes empty but hungering. Forbidden tech. A crime across every heaven. Naruto smiled, serene. Now the real fireworks. He stepped forward and every heroine felt the world tilt toward tomorrow. Holy dragon exosuits thundered out of the rift in phalanx rows, each 3 meters tall, halos of liquid calculus orbiting spinal vents. Their cannons primed, humming at a pitch that split festival bunting mid-flutter. Students scattered behind conjured barriers. Rias's peerage snapped to battle posts on instinct drilled during countless late-night sessions with their king. Naruto did not summon weapons. He strolled forward, heels clicking on tarmac sticky with spilt yakisoba. Rias, crowd control, he said, voice casual as signing for a package. Kiba, carve escape lanes. Xenovia deny elevations. Akeno, she landed beside him, lightning licking braid tips. Shock therapy, play loud. Orders given, he stepped beyond booth line alone against 50 war machines. The first salvo pounded down. Naruto raised his right hand, palm out. Everything paused. Shells, exhaust flame, even gravity's pull on confetti frozen midair. With his left hand he traced a curt gesture. The munitions obeyed, rotating 180 degrees before accelerating back into their launchers. White-hot implosions gut-punched the front rank, folding metal like origami in furnace heat. Akeno cackled, riding a thunder column that split another rank down the spine. Kaneko blurred through smoke plumes, striking knee joints so fast servogyros shattered under internal torque. Kiba and Xenovia joined one weaving steel illusions to misdirect targeting arrays. The other vaulting overhead to pin exosuits beneath cleaving arcs of Durandal. But the army didn't break. Tactical AI stitched gaps, units reforming into concentric kill boxes. 3 suits detached, boosters blazing toward the evacuation route. Asia, shielding children at the gate, braced for death. Naruto blinked behind the trio, finger flicking a soundless cord. Their thrusters cut midburn, inertia reversed. The suits flew backwards, crashing into their own platoon like bowling balls. Asia's prayer of thanks caught in her throat, replaced by wonder. In the chaos, one exosuit stabilized long enough to open its chest vault a contained cherubim reactor, radiant with stolen grace. It aimed directly at the grandstand where civilian club members sheltered. Valley's Pav, I've endured boredom since birth. Today, boredom died screaming. That lunatic, my lunatic. Toyed with Kokobeel's toys and still found time to flirt. When the reactor sighted those humans, I felt its raw exuberance. A test within the test. Could he cover everything? The answer. Almost. I dove, balance breaker blooming. Azure wings overtook light itself. Split-second intercept my hand closed around the reactor core. It burned, singing scales from white to molten, but I hurled it skyward. A miniature sun erupted above Kuo harmless altitude. I landed, armor steaming, and he greeted me with a tilt of the head. Thank you, Naruto said like I'd passed an entrance exam. I smirked. Race you to the last one. We turned in unison, fire reflected in our grins. Pav returns. The remaining dozen suits clustered, forming a fortress sphere. Naruto cracked his neck. Valley hovered, draconic halo flaring. Both vanished. What happened next defied eyewitness consensus. Some swore they saw Twin after him. Ages punched through armor with cavitation trails. Others claimed the exosuits collapsed inward like crushed cans without physical contact. Security cameras caught only static and 2 silhouettes passing. G threw 90 targets in 9 seconds. Shrapnel rained harmlessly, morphing midfall into soap bubbles. Children popped them, laughing. Valley landed hard, grinning feral. 9.0 seconds. Naruto dusted jacket sleeves. 9 flat. Liar. Beat the cameras. They agree with me. Valley barked laughter, wings folding. Someday. Uzumaki. Grow fast, Lucifer. Valley took off. Challenge burning BR. I'd enough to outshine the lingering blast cloud. Cleanup was quieter than setup. Azazel inspected one salvaged core, jaw slack. This tech was banned before Babel. Who? Someone lacking imagination, Naruto replied. He plucked a rose petal from the reactor where no roses grew, then crushed it to stardust. Track the funding. You'll find Dogma wearing angel robes. Azazel whistled low. Grigori thanks you. My R&D thanks you. Physics will sue. Balcony kiss, take 2. Storm clouds rolled in by evening courtesy of Weather Ward's Akeno coaxed sky high, eager for encore. Naruto met her on the tallest dorm balcony. City lights flickering under Thunder's drumroll. She nudged him with shoulder. Festival MVP. I think the goldfish outranked me. Goldfish can't do this. She pulled him into the storm. Lightning forked around them, framing silhouettes in neon white. Their kiss lingered, soft lip graze turned hungry crackle as Thunder applauded in surround sound. When they parted, Akeno's cheeks glowed. You taste like ozone and secrets. Don't trust secrets, he murmured against her ear, but keep the ozone. She laughed, delighted. In her palm sparks shaped the kanji king. She closed fingers tight, letting it burn a harmless sigil into skin. Library after hours. Azazel spread scroll fragments across a study table. Gabriel, disguise spell flickering gold, hovered beside him. Rias, Sona, and Naruto listened. The original God's Gospel, Azazel said, tapping faded lines. We've pieced 4 verses. Each mentions a Misthios of ruin who rewrites covenants. Gabriel's voice was windchime soft yet heavy. Some of heaven's elders fear he's the dagger that severs all pacts. Naruto traced one stanza. Letters glowed then settled. Prophecies a puzzle made by cowards who fear free will. Let them fear. Rias clasped his arm. Which means they'll strike first. Then they'd better learn speed. Sona cleared her throat. Politics aside, finals start next week. Everyone blinked. Naruto grinned. I'll host study sessions, ramen incentives. Even Gabriel smiled at that. Cliff signal. Midnight. Inside a ruined chapel miles beyond town, hooded figures knelt in runic circles. They poured molten scripture onto stone, forging a sigil identical to the gospel verse Azazel just read, only upside down. Deep below, chains rattled and a bestial hiss rumbled like tectonic plates grinding. A crimson orb rose from the altar, casting jagged shadows. Phase 1. Disruption successful, a masked priest intoned. Phase 2. Awakening begins at next moon. The orb pulsed heartbeat of something vast, hateful, patient. Far away on Kuo's dorm roof, Naruto gazed toward the horizon, eyes narrowing at a tremor no sensor could chart. Kaneko curled against his side, asleep. Rias and Akino chatted softly behind him, planning study timetables that somehow wove around world security briefings. He smiled at their voices, thunder, moonlight, cat snores, all in one chord. Then he whispered to the dark, "I'm listening." The wind shifted, carrying distant chanting like embers on ice. Kuo's late summer dusk painted the quad bronze as clubs hauled festival debris back to storage. No one talked about holy dragons or prophecy during cleanup. They argued over misplaced extension cords and split a crate of leftover yakitori. Naruto stacked collapsed stalls with one hand while typing calculus notes for tomorrow's study meet with the other. Multitasking gods was easy, tutoring teenagers was art. Ravel balanced on a stepladder, trying to retrieve a tangled string of lanterns. A sudden wobble sent her flailing until invisible air solidified underfoot, giving her a moment to right the ladder. She glanced down. Naruto offered an encouraging thumbs up without pausing his lecture on differential equations to Kiba. Ravel's cheeks pinked. She blew him a grateful kiss that singed the ladder paint. Library night study. The main stacks glowed beneath conjured orb lamps. Naruto's ramen indexed revision. System ranked questions by noodle thickness. Udon for heavy theory, soba for proofs, ramen for practical problems. Kaneko devoured literal ramen while blitzing vector sheets. Asia discovered Shiratai. Ned theology concepts faster when Naruto read them aloud, his voice apparently slotted into the to-wave sweet spots. Xenovia, competitive as ever, transformed sword katas into mnemonic dances for trigonometry identities. The aisles quaked with her whispered, sine, cosine, peri. Akino perched on the dictionary ladder, testing Naruto on integral tricks. Every correct answer earned him a lightning lip peck. Every wrong answer, rare, earned a playful zap to the earlobe. Rias engineered the seating chart so her leg brushed his under the shared table. Ravel bribed everyone with Phoenix Flame Cupcakes tea. Had left lingering warmth and just happened to pair perfectly with Naruto's miso. When midnight chimed, finished notebooks floated into stacks on their own, quills capped themselves, lights dimmed. Sona appeared in the doorway, pushing up glasses. Time's up. Curfew. Naruto grinned. Last-minute bonus round. Sona rolled her eyes but stepped inside. Very well. One-liner algebra prove or disprove. 2 minutes. He solved it in 40 seconds. Then wrote a second, cleaner proof in 10 more using Citra family crest runes to illustrate eigenvector flow. Sona stared, caught between admiration and exasperation. Pav switch. Sona Citri. Logic had always been my anchor. Rules, order, predictable outcomes. Then he arrived treating natural laws like suggestions yet respecting paperwork deadlines. Standing in that lamplight, I realized chaos could be symmetrical if the axis was unbreakable. He handed back the parchment, smile lazy. Silence pooled around us, an interval too short to classify yet long enough for possibility. I wondered, could a queen share board space with a king who ignored grids? The idea should terrify. Instead, it felt like graduation. Pav returns. Naruto slid a fresh pen between Sona's fingers. Your equations deserve ink that never leaks. The pen shimmered obsidian, carved from void glass. Sona cleared her throat. Very thoughtful. She hurried out before the blush betrayed strategy. Akeno smirked. Our king collects queens. Queens collect themselves, Naruto corrected, packing up manuscripts with a flick. Riverside stroll. Later, Naruto found Zenobia pacing the footbridge, Durandal resting against railing. Gaze fixed on moonlit ripples. Couldn't sleep, he asked. I'm used to missions, not festivals. She scuffed a boot. I saw children cheering while cannons targeted them. My faith wavers. Naruto leaned on the rail beside her. Faith isn't blind. Its eyes open, choosing hope anyway. She exhaled. Easy for a king. Hard for a knight, he agreed softly. Hard, but not lonely. She turned. Moonlight edged her steel blue eyes. Test me. He lifted Durandal 1 inch off the rail using 2 fingers. Holy steel should have burned a devil host, yet the blade purred like contented cat. Zenobia stared, thunderstruck. Your sword knows truth, Naruto said. It trusts you. So do I. Her pulse stuttered. She leaned forward, kiss brushed his cheek, quick as a sparring jab, then she grabbed Durandal. Marching off with muttered prayers that sounded suspiciously like victory songs. Herald dream. Naruto drifted asleep beneath a maple outside the dorm. Dream walls parted. A cathedral of black glass. Hues warped into talons. At the altar knelt a girl in silver chains, singing a lullaby in a language yet unborn. Each note cracked the glass floor, through fissures. Naruto glimpsed stars dying in reverse. A massive shadow loomed behind the girl, 3 heads breathing cosmic frost. The central maw spoke his name in static that tasted like blood and ash. We are the memory of endings. Naruto flexed will. The dream shuddered, but chains only tightened on the girl. She raised tear-bright eyes, sockets empty, yet pleading. He stepped forward, woke to find dawn misting the quad. Hand fisted in maple roots. He whispered, hold on. Thunder echoed from far underground. Azazel's lab. Noon. Azazel wheeled in a reinforced cart containing Kokobeel's confiscated armor plating and a chunk of holy dragon core. He waved a Geiger counter turned angel density meter. Needles spiked. Bad news. Energy sigil matches Trihexa resurrection cult. Worse. We detect identical pulses 30 kilometers west. Under abandoned monastery. Rias's peerage and Sona's council assembled around the holotable. Naruto traced the pulse map. Sigils formed a spiral identical to his dream fissures. We strike tonight, he said. Rias squeezed his hand. All of us. No civilians, Sona added, steeling herself. Akeno cracked knuckles. Late as night out, then. Zenobia hefted Durandal. I'll carve the door. Naruto's smile held iron. And I'll be the welcome mat. Pre-raid moments. Ravel tied Naruto's tie, feathers rustling as she whispered, come back hungry, I'll bake victory bread. Asia slipped a rosary around his wrist. For when you must heal hearts, not wounds. Kaneko headbutted him once. Snacks later. Sona arrived last, handing him a scroll of emergency ward overrides and daring a quick kiss to cheek. Use logic sparingly. Naruto tucked the scroll inside jacket. Luck loves math. Overhead, Thunderheads masked Akeno's silent promise of artillery support. They departed through a gate of violet flame, leaving Kuo lamplit and ignorant, yet somehow comforted by trust in monsters wearing uniforms. Deep in the monastery catacombs, robed zealots arranged crystal pylons anew. A sarcophagus forged from meteor bone. The crimson orb floated above, now the size of a beating heart. Each pulse jarred stone dust from rafters. Chanting rose. Naruto's portal irised opened 2 chambers away. He stepped through first, boot crunching ancient gravel. At his back, Rias's crimson aura flared like dawn captured in gemstone. Sona's glyphs rotated, analytical. Zenobia, Akeno, Kaneko, Asia, Ravel each ready. Each burning their own brand of fire. Naruto breathed in damp air scented with myrrh and dread. Let's teach cultists new hymns. The first gate shattered under Zenobia's overhand strike. Holy steel pulverizing magma-fused iron hinges. Zealots spun, hissing liturgies. Kaneko vaulted off rubble, double-palmed a robed throat, dropped him before syllables finished. Rias follow. D with a sweeping sigil, crimson glyphs locked torches in stasis, killing the shadows the cultists used as cover. Akeno's laughter rolled down the stairwell. Outside, her storm unleashed. Lightning speared through skylight cracks, ricocheting along runaveins in the walls. Each bolt struck only cultists, leaving marble pristine, carving paths for the assault team. Naruto advanced, boot prints fill in. G with quiet blue fire that burned without heat. He flicked a hand. The enemy's scripture scrolls unraveled mid-chant, words twisting into harmless falling feathers. Asia crouched beside a wounded zealot, hands glowing to stop blood loss. He stared, bewildered. Why? Save me. Mercy's louder than fear, she whispered, and the zealot wept not from pain but awe. Beyond the antechamber loomed the sarcophagus chamber cathedral-sized. Ceiling lost in gloom. Crystal pylons thrummed, feeding the crimson orb. Each pulse summoned the stench of extinction. Sona raised her ward scroll. Glyphs spiraled overhead into a containment net. We have 9 minutes before the energy climbs past seismic threshold. Plenty, Naruto said. Cultist archpriests emerged, 6 of them, chanting in harmonic dissonance. Air combined aura birthed spectral hydra heads that lashed acid darkness. Revel hurled phoenix fire lotus bombs, detonating heads into sparks. Kiba's swords flickered. Illusionary duplicates multiplied, cutting chant resonance. Yet the orb swelled, veins forming like lightning under its translucent skin. Rias stepped forward, power spiking. I'll handle the choir. Her wings unfurled, bathed in surge of power of destruction. She launched, a ruby comet spiraling through hydra remnants, hammering archpriests into pylons that shorted out, cracking crystal spires. Naruto approached the orb. The closer he drew, the more reality-warped gravity keened, colors inverted. He placed a palm on invisible membrane. The orb's surface rippled, revealing the chained silver-haired girl from his dream curled within, eyes still hollow. Trihex's first head pressed the interior scale like galaxies, pupil like a black hole. A single muffled roar rattled stalactites. Kaneko shouted, seals breaking. Not yet, Naruto said, voice low. Everyone clear the chamber. Arguments died on their tongues. They knew that tone. Even Rias hesitated only a breath before dragging the last dazed cultist through Sona's shrinking ward doorway. Silence fell, thick as obsidian. Naruto exhaled, and the air froze mid-motion. He raised his right hand, index finger extended. Venuzdano a rewrite. No beam, no flare, just a soft cracking sound, like ice yielding. Reality around his fingertip inverted to negative. A line etched itself across the orb, tiny, almost gentle. The orb stopped pulsing. Trihex's roar muted to distant thunder, chains recoiled. The silver-haired captive lifted her face, eyes no longer hollow but starbright with relief. She mouthed a word that might have been free, then dispersed into motes of dawn. The crimson orb collapsed inward, shrinking to a ruby marble that fell into Naruto's palm. He closed fingers, the marble vanished. He turned, eyes glowing molten gold, and walked toward the exit. Surface. Ruined cloister yard. Night air hit them like baptism. Akino's storm dissipated, revealing a sky scrubbed clean by moonlight. Sona's wards sealed the stairwell behind them, runes locking with a click that echoed finality. Rias rushed to Naruto, searching his face. You're hurt. A faint crack marred his right gauntlet cuff, nothing beyond cosmetic, yet it bled faint starlight. Price was small, he said. But Trihexa isn't gone, only dreaming. Someone will try again. Sona exhaled. Then we've bought time. A black portal spiraled open near the courtyard well. Valley stepped out, clapping slowly. Miss a banquet, and the tyrant rewrites apocalypses. Typical. Naruto smirked. You bring dessert. Valley tossed a cold canned coffee. Naruto caught it left-handed without looking. They share. Da grinned, sharper than blades yet warmer than blood. Gabriel's gentle radiance appeared next, flanked by Azazel and Seraphal teleporting in tandem, word of the sealed catastrophe spreading faster than magical embargoes could. Faces that usually traded guarded diplomacy now converged in unanimous relief and awe. Gabriel bowed first to Naruto. The heavens acknowledge a debt. He shook his head. Buy the students' new festival booths. We'll call it even. Seraphal squealed, hugging him and Rias at once. I ship it. Azazel hefted a fragment of shattered pylon. These readings, wow. Lab's gonna explode. He looked at Naruto. Not literally, I hope. Keep the blast radius under a mile, Naruto quipped. Laughter eased tension, but the winds changed icy hush sweeping through ruins. From the mouth of the sealed stairwell, a serpentine hiss rippled. Shall I measure your eternity, reincarnated king? Ophis stepped into moonlight barefoot, expression blank yet curious, infinity coiling around her like gentle gravity. She regarded the group, then focused on Naruto. Rias's breath caught. Akino's hand sparked. Zenobia raised Durandal. Naruto lifted a calming palm. He met Ophus's obsidian stare, smile slow, inviting. Contest. Or conversation. Her head tilted. Both. The night brimmed with anticipation, no threat, just limitless horizons colliding. Naruto chuckled softly. Then let's begin with tea. Moonlight bathed the shattered cloister as allies, rivals, and gods settled into an uneasy circle, battle scarred but unbroken, storms spent but not stilled. Far below, Trihex's dream chains rattled a lullaby into deeper slumber, while somewhere in the cosmos, prophecies tore themselves from ancient tomes, unable to keep pace with a king who rewrote verses by living. The coming dawn would find Kuo forever changed. Chapter 2 End. Moonlight shouldn't reach the highest vault of the Seraphim Conclave. 12 tiers of crystal arches sealed from mortal skies, yet tonight pale silver spilled across the dais, painting every halo in uneasy gray. Archangel Remiel knelt at the center, shoulders tight beneath dented armor that still smelled of yesterday's defeat. Images of Kuo floated overhead. A devil king halting an apocalypse with a fingertip, a rogue seraph bound by iron polytennis, a prophecy unraveling like torn parchment. Michael's voice cut the hush. Report. Remiel bowed deeper. The Misthios of ruin lives. He rewrites our armaments as children's toys. Whispers flared, some awed, most afraid. One cherub murmured, Antichrist. Another muttered, Messiah. Remiel shut both out. Labels meant nothing if heaven bled. From the outer ring, Gabriel stepped forward, sunlight woven in her hair even under moonlit cast. We also saw him bind Kokobile without death. Power tempered by mercy. An elder seraph slammed a staff. Mercy is sedition when offered to traitors. Michael raised a hand for silence. He stared at the fractured spear Remiel laid upon the altar, holy steel reduced to dust along its shaft. The wound left by an effortless sigh. Convene the Ragnarok clause, he said at last. Gasps rippled. We prepare to strike, but only if parley fails. Remiel's heart lurched. Parley meant facing that gravity again. Yet relief flickered. Perhaps a king who wielded mercy would accept it. Above, the rogue moonlight guttered, as if deciding heaven no longer deserved her brightness. Kuo Academy. Dawn before exams. Naruto lounged under the cherry tree with Kaneko asleep on his lap, cat tail slipping from illusion as she napped before finals. Akino strutted across the quad in a blazer, 2 buttons too open, mock saluting the chatter of underclassmen. Rias sat on a picnic cloth, sorting flashcards into stacks labeled crush, pulverize, and eviscerate, her unique mnemonic for political history dates. Violent study method, Naruto teased. Memorable, she retorted, flicking a card. Treaty of Kanya. Pulverize, he answered, snapping the card from midair. Exams loomed, but Te and Sion hung heavier. They could sense Trihex's uneasy sleep beneath fresh seals, feel heaven's eyes on every ward line. Still, laughter flitted like sparrows, proof that ordinary life mattered. Across the field, Sona fired quickburst spells from a wand-shaped slide rule, drilling student council rookies on interference weaves. She caught Naruto watching, offered a small, conspiratorial smile. Chaos and order had learned to share recess. A ripple, faint yet unmistakable, hummed through the ward stones. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Messenger incoming. A single white feather drifted down, bearing gold script, audience requested. Heaven, 7th gate, noon. Beneath, Michael's seal blazed. Rias exhaled. Diplomacy or trap? Both, Naruto said. He stroked Kaneko's hair until she stirred. Ready for a field trip, kitten? She yawned, cracking knuckles. Always. Valley's mountain dojo, mid-morning. Snow blasted off granite spires while Valley pounded dragonic aura into kinetic sculptures, each punch car. Ving runes in the air that exploded like fireworks. He barely glanced up when Naruto arrived via shadow fold. Thought you'd be neck-deep in angel politics, Valley said, breath fogging. Thought you'd be bored without competition. Naruto tossed him a scroll. Heaven's challenge writ plain. Want to crash a party? Valley read, grin stretching. Try and stop me. They clashed once, friendly, seismic. Shish. Aquaves sheared mountaintop clouds into feather shapes before dissipating. Mutual respect renewed, they turned toward fate. Ophus's garden between worlds. A garden impossible. Nightski koi swimming through lilies. Constellations dangling like ripe fruit. Ophus waded barefoot on nebula grass, tilting her head as Naruto stepped from a crack in time, Rias and Akeno beside him, others following. Infinity welcomes finite paradox, she said, tone flat, eyes endless. And finite thanks infinity for tea, Naruto replied, conjuring a low table, cups brimmed with stardust-scented steam. Conversation unfolded in layered silences. Ophus spoke in equations of absence, Naruto answered in jokes that bent probability. By end, only one meaning crystallized. Ophus would watch the heaven parley not interf. Unless betrayal broke rules she never wrote but now found interesting. She placed a black scale ribbon in Naruto's palm. Marker of neutrality, she said. If severed, infinity claims war. Rias swallowed. Akeno's fingers traced new lightning at her wrist. Naruto folded the ribbon into his pocket. Understood. Stars overhead rearranged into a sigil none present could read save perhaps the future. Noon. Seventh gate of heaven. Cloudstone colonnades stretched into forever, prisms of Schwarzsong swirling around them. Naruto and his entourage Rias, Sona, Akeno, Kaneko, Xenovia, Asia, Revel Plus. Valias, security, approached the alabaster dais where Michael, Gabriel, and Remiel awaited. Haloed spearmen lined the bridge, eyes wary yet curious. Michael raised 2 fingers, weapons lowered in unison. Welcome in peace. Naruto inclined his head. May it endure. Formalities traded, they entered the gate, a hexagonal chamber of living crystal. The door sealed, barriers layered, privacy ensured. Yet an uneasy hush grew. Even divine wards couldn't muffle tension when cosmos-bending teenagers squared off against eonald archangels. Michael offered first olive branch. Heaven retracts claim that you threaten cosmic order. Provided Trihexa remains bound. Sona whispered calculations under breath. Rias glanced to Naruto. He spoke, tone calm. Agreed if all factions sign a mutual aid clause. No clandestine weapons. No unilateral prophecy strikes. A murmur. Remiel stepped forward, armor still cracked. You wield mercy. Prove it. Return Kokobile for judgment. Naruto considered, then opened a microgate. Kokobile emerged bound. Alive, stripped of malice by Asia's constant prayers during detention. Judge him, heal him, or exile him, Naruto said. Your choice, not mine. Gabriel's relief softened the hull. Progress until a spear of black flame scripture burst through the ceiling, skewering an outer wall. Alarms keened. A tier opened above the gate. Cult sigils pulsing, hijacking heaven's sanctum. Trihex's dreamroar boomed. Remiel paled. They're using heaven's light as conduit. Michael reached for his blade, but chains of corrupted grace locked around the hilt, sabotage from within. Naruto stepped to platform center. Eyes blazing gold. Ragnarok claws, ready or not. A second spear crashed aimed at Gabriel. Sona's ward scroll fanned wide, redirecting it into a harmless burst of roses. Rias's aura flared. Akeno summoned lightning. Xenovia brandished Durandal, while Asia dropped to knees, weaving miracle shields. Valley laughed, ecstatic. Now this is a summit. Naruto turned once, addressing both heavenly host and earthborn allies. Lesson 4. When kings bargain, traitors strike. Let's teach them diplomacy. Light exploded, battle joined. Screams of shattering crystal ricocheted through the seventh gate as corrupted spears drilled fresh skylights. Choir pillars that had stood since Eden's spider webbed, raining prisms that tinkled like weeping bells. Naruto snapped 2 fingers. Gravity inverted for falling shards, suspending them midair before they could slice a single wing. He pivoted, intercepting a third spear with his bare palm. Black scripture fought to sear flesh but fizzled. Stitched into harmless embroidery across his glove. Identify the breach, he called. Sona's eyes blazed calculation. Vectors converge on the inner choir vault, someone's remote casting through the seraphim resonance grid. Quote, on it. Rias launched skyward, crimson trails carving through rising dust. Akeno mirrored, thundercloud wings unfurling to shadows lash an incoming salvo. Kaneko clung to her aura slipstream. Claws gleaming, ready to pounce on any soul daring close combat. Valley tackled the south flank, white armor clanging as he rocket-punched corrupted crusaders that poured from fresh rifts like tarred locusts. Heaven needs better bouncers. Durandal flashed. Xenovia severed rune chains choking the archangel blades. Each link fell, sizzling into fragrant lilies beneath Asia's whispered benedictions. A cyclone of spectral wings spiraled above traitor cherubim chanting the Null Credo, a forbidden psalm promising new creation through perfect void. Their conductor swooped into view, Elion once seraph, now hollow-eyed preacher of unmaking, robe stitched with trihexa scale. Begone, impostor king, Elion thundered, unleashing a storm of void feathers. Naruto stepped. Forward feathers curved around him like failing arrows, dissolving at a smile's edge. Crowns aren't imposter, just borrowed light. He flicked a coin no bigger than yesterday's 100 yen, spun with 2 taps. It multiplied mid-arc. 10. 100, a galaxy of silver discs punching holes through feather storm, each disc blistering void energy into harmless sparks before remerging into a single coin that clinked into Naruto's waiting hand. Elion staggered, disbelief curdling into rage. Blasphemy. Economy, Naruto corrected, pocketing the coin. Pav switch. Gabriel, I have seen stars born in stable cradles, and worlds end in gentle tides. Yet never did I bend my knees until a boy wearing devil grins rewrote extinction with small kindnesses. Elion was once my choir brother, now void howled behind his eyes. I hesitated love for the past as a chain I still bear. But when he raised trihexadutched scripture against children, hesitation shattered. Faith is not silence. Faith is choice. I drew Dawn Shaper and sang. Pav returns. Gabriel's hymn cascaded, golden notes weaving lattice shields around every ally. Where void feathers struck, they melted into dawn mist. Elion barked another psalm, null chords clashing with Gabriel's melody. Sound itself warped, threatening to rip open earthen frequencies. Sona counter-conducted, hands slicing equations, aligning harmonic nodes so enemy resonance cancelled out like mismatched sine waves. The chamber steadied. Naruto strode through the musical crossfire to Elion. Spearman lunged. He waved, and their momentum turned 90 degrees, bodies skidding harmlessly across polished floor. Close now, he addressed the fallen seraph quietly. Look past the void, Elion. See who hands you the knife. For a flicker, Elion's gaze cleared, anger replaced by bleak terror as distant chains rattled. Trihex's slumberor leaked through every crack in heaven. Elion screamed, clawing at his own chest as black scripture brands ignited. He was puppet, not maestro. Naruto's eyes softened. He stepped in, pressed 2 fingers to Elion's brow. Sleep. Brands extinguished. Elion collapsed, breathing but freed. A tremor hit strong enough to tilt colonnades. Michael regained his half-drawn sword. Wings braced. Central vault. Containment shards are failing. Rias streaked back, panting. Vault cracked, Trihex's heart forging a breach. Valley whooped, exhilarated. Finally, Sona slapped a ward patch on his helm. Contain enthusiasm. Impossible. Naruto surveyed allies, devils, angels, hybrids, one recovered traitor unified by necessity. Everyone with me. This ends now. He produced Ophus's blackscale ribbon, sliced it through the air. Space obeyed, folding into a gate ringed by infinity sigils. From beyond, Ophus's voice whispered, claws intact. Neutrality observes. Naruto beckoned his team. Let's rewrite doom a second time. They stepped through into the ruptured heart of heaven. Central vault of light. A sphere the size of a city hovered above an abyssal chasm, Trihex's dream core. Half-awake, leaking aurora blood. Fractured choir pillars orbited like broken moons. Sigil chains laid by the original god centuries ago now glowed hairline red, snapping one by one. Naruto's group fanned out on floating platforms. Michael landed opposite, sword raised. Together, he said, and the word carried millennia of command. Michael dove first, cleaving a broken chain. Rias mirrored. Power of destruction sealing the cleft. Akino hurled storm lances into fissures, exhaling chaos wind. Kaneko punched anchor stones back into sockets, her small fist sparking under colossal pressure. Sona wove logarithmic ward spirals, Asia bolstering with regenerative faith pulses. Ravel's phoenix flames filled gaps like molten solder, locking repairs. Xenovia and Kiba tag-teamed rogue energy vortices. Blades singing counter harmonics. Valley intercepted a bolt of nascent entropy, redirecting it into an unused halo ring. He shouted over the roar, Uzumaki. Center shot. Naruto hovered before the dream core. eyes incandescent. Gold swirled to pitch black, then singular white totality. He pressed his left hand to his own sternum. Shock rippled. Heart lights sputtered. A long artery lattices visible beneath his skin. King, Rias screamed. Hold formation, he called, voice steady though his heartbeat cracked like thunder. I'll rewrite its law with mine. Brief pain, long peace. He drew out a throbbing sphere of pure light, his heart made manifest. Not blood muscle, but the conceptual nexus Anos once shattered to resurrect hope. He pressed it into Trihex's leaking shell. The universe squinted. Every quark between poles froze, deciding whether to obey old history or the new vow beating at its surface. Naruto whispered, rest. Light flushed outward, cascading across broken chains, mending them in glowing silver braided with dawn. Trihex's roar dwindled to a shuddering sigh. The core shrank, curling around the borrowed heart like a child hugging a lullaby. Naruto's body flickered, empty chest echoing. Asia gasped, rushing forward, but Gabriel caught her. Wait, watch. A single beat echoed, faint, distant. Then stronger, resounding through vault walls, through halos, through heaven proper. Naruto's form relit. His heart reborn, forged anew inside him, now twinned with the peace he'd given the beast. He swayed. Rias darted in, catching him. She cradled his cheeks, tears streaking despite triumph. Idiot. He managed a grin. Efficient. She kissed him long, fierce, grateful, entire choir vault flaring blush pink. Michael lowered his sword, awe radiating. You've done what heaven could not. Team effort, Naruto said, nodding toward every ally. Ophus's voice drifted in. Infinity rescinds neutrality. Interest engaged. Valley fist-pumped. Sequel secured. Alarms fell silent. Broken pillars healed. For the first time since the war, heaven felt whole. But beneath triumph, Naruto sensed threads tightening, a post-battle stillness before unseen ripples surfaced. Tomorrow's throne room politics, rivalries, romantic sparks, none solved yet. He smiled tiredly. Challenges kept kingdoms interesting. Quiet before the wrong storm. The central vault quieted, chains still humming lullaby cadence. Healers drifted through columns tending cuts and cracked feathers. For one fragile hour, every faction breathed the same grateful air. Naruto leaned again, Saint Acquire plinth while Asia flooded him with green gold light. Your new heart is stable, she whispered, eyes misty. Please stop trading it like lunch money. Can't promise, he said, then squeezed her hands. But I'll always return the loan. Rias, Akeno, and Sona circled, protective satellites. Valley prowled the perimeter, itching for a rematch with cosmic doom that might never come. Michael floated above, convening remote councils to ratify the miracle of Kuo Accords. Equal research oversight, mutual defense, absolute ban on prophecy weapons. Every signature pen flashed brilliant white. Then the vault lighting knifed to crimson. Double cross. Ragnarok claws activated. 4 Elder Seraphim Uriel, Zafkiel, Barachiel, and Sandalphon materialized on balconies high above, halos scorched to char. Each raised a crystal rod veined with void script. Together the rods formed a tetrahedron that whirred open like a lockset. Michael shouted, stand down. But command codes bounced. The elders had root access, older than his title. The tetrahedron fired a beam that speared the ceiling chains, injecting black ice. Trihex's lullaby warped to a snarl. Dreamcore surged, angling again toward breakout. Naruto's eyes hardened. They're hijacking the Ragnarok failsafe using heaven itself as detonation charge. Sona blanched, fingers racing abacus beads midair. Energy equation exponential. If the clause completes, every dimensional layer resets creation wipe. Akeno crackled lightning. Not on my watch. Valley flared dragon wings. Boss battle, round 2. Split-second strategy. Naruto's ND closed around Ophus's blackscale ribbon, the neutrality marker. Snapped now. Infinity would join their side, but war with Heaven's core could annihilate reality. He hesitated. Rias squeezed his arm. We stopped them ourselves. No scorched cosmos needed. He nodded once. Positions. Aim for rods, break the control matrix. Teams launched. Rias and Gabriel crimson destruction and dawn hymns sandwiched Sandalphon's balcony. Akeno and Valley twin storms, one divine, one draconic, blitz spiraled toward Zafkiel. Kaneko, Kiba, Xenovia ground squad leapt pillar to pillar toward Barachiel. Naruto, Sona, Asia, Revel's central platform. Sona hacking divine root, Asia shielding, Revel fueling spells with Phoenix Nova bursts while Naruto Prime tanked inbound void flak. Balcony duels. Rias spiraled through shattered choir glass. Her aura a solar flare with claws. Sandalphon countered by wielding verses like blades, but Gabriel's pure note stripped the verses of sound, leaving them inert glyph dust. Rias finish. Ed the rod with a single palm thrust pulverized category fracturing a tetra face. Akeno surfed Valley's wave of compressed thunder toward Zafkiel, who forged mirror shields of frozen time. Valley accelerated, breaking through delays. Akeno kissed her own lightning bolt, turning it indigo. It tunneled, shattering mirrors and rod alike. 2 faces down. Kaneko used Barachiel's own halo as springboard, cracking his jaw, while Xenovia severed Archangel wings to ground him. Kiba's illusion blades confused auto wards. Barachiel's rod exploded in Phoenix blue flame courtesy of Revel's incendiary assist logged from below. 3 down. Tetrahedron finale. Only Uriel remained, rod fused to core lightning like a lance through heaven's heart. She chanted a failsafe. If I fall, Ragnarok completes. Chains snapped faster, Dreamcore roaring awake. Naruto teleported to balcony rim, confronting Uriel alone. Her eyes wept molten gold. Creation must purge paradox, she whispered. You bend laws, I restore them. He offered an open hand. Walk forward instead. She shoved the rod deeper. Trihexa thrashed, cracks zigzagging across the vault. Naruto sighed, then plunged his bare hand into the rod's lightning. Thing. Met raw god code trying to overwrite him. He wrote back. Tesla bright standoff. Data lightning spiraled around them as dual wills dueled in quantum script. Akeno's thunder dimmed in comparison. Even Gabriel shielded her gaze. The rod shrieked, unable to resolve 2 absolute commands. Uriel screamed, wings flaring void black then flicker white. Naruto's aura expanded, Anos's tyrant crest glowing behind him like eclipse. He whispered, order doesn't fear evolution. With a final pulse, he hollowed the rod, removed its reset line, left only reboot hope. The crystal husk shattered into harmless rain. Uriel collapsed, sobbing, corruption burned out. Naruto caught her, lowered her gently to Gabriel's waiting arms. Chain Mend 2.0. Without rods, the tetra froze, but Trihexa's agitation persisted, chains sizzling at 60% integrity. Sona shouted new solution. Replace broken links with living resonance. Naruto nodded, ripping open shirt front, heartlight blazing. Rias, Valley, Gabriel, Akeno, Sona, Kaneko, Xenovia, Asia. Revel all linked hands in a circle around him. Choir pillars hummed. Each offered a harmonic facet. Courage, storm, dawn, logic, loyalty, faith, flame, catfire, senis, dragon pride. Their combined resonance projected outward, weaving into busted chain segments as flexible light vine. Trihexa lulled, soothed by symphony no prophecy foresaw. When the last link sealed, silence blossomed deep, relieved. Aftermath beat. Michael touched ground, armor cracked but eyes bright. Ragnarok averted, heaven stands. Naruto exhaled, sweat diamonding brow. He turned to allies, voice rough, kingdoms shared, remember. Rias kissed him before crowd, murmuring, always. Akeno zapped their joined hands, tiny static hearts laughing. Kaneko nipped his shoulder, gentle. Asia hugged his waist. Xenovia clanged Durandal in salute. Sona adjusted glasses to hide watery gleam. Revel pressed warm phoenix feather to his chest. Valley punched his arm, claiming brag rights. Gabriel laid blessing of infinite second chances. But deep under floorings, Trihexa still slumbered, now pacified not eradicated. And the cosmic ripple of rewritten Ragnarok whipped through realms faster than thought. Awakanon. Eyes that hadn't opened since before time. Naruto felt them watching and smiled like a boy daring the ocean to bigger waves. Silence settled like soft snow over the 7th gate, broken only by the faint tremor of chains now pulsing with 9 heartbeats instead of 1. Heaven's light returned, no longer sterile white but faintly tinted by every color present in that circle of clasped hands. Naruto took a step and nearly folded. Rias and Akeno steadied him from either side. Warmth flared where their palms pressed his ribs. Still vertical, he muttered. Horizontal has its perks, Akeno teased, lightning dancing across her smile. Library, Sona warned, though her own cheeks carried storm-pink flush. Valley sauntered close, white armor shedding scales of cooling plasma. You just stole Ragnarok's core command. How am I supposed to top that? Next time, Naruto said, squeezing Valley's wrist, we let you tank the apocalypse while I sell tickets. Valley barked laughter, wings snapping once eye. End salute before he vanished through a rift no goodbye needed. Archangel Michael sheathed his repaired sword and turned to the battered elders. Remiel knelt, helping Uriel steady trembling arms. At Michael's nod, choir circles lowered, forming rough amphitheater around Naruto's group. Heaven owes recreation to those it once named enemy, Michael declared, voice echoing clear and humbled. Henceforth, the Misthios Accords stand eternal law, power shared, dogma questioned, mercy first. Gabriel placed her halo in Naruto's hands. It shrank to a ring sized for a promise finger, then re-expanded to settle above his hair like a teasing sunburst before returning to her brow. A pledge of trust, she said, eyes shimmering dawn. Rias drew Naruto down for another kiss, this one slow, claiming, witness. Ed by an audience of immortals who politely looked anywhere else. When she let him go, Kaneko hopped up, bonking his forehead with hers. Snacks. He laughed, conjuring a sack of Neko cookies even as Sia slid a restorative vial between his lips. Phoenix feather heat from Ravel's palm followed, knitting lingering microfractures in his aura. Sona unrolled a single parchment, Provisional Royal Campus. Holiday signed by every faction, which meant exams postponed 48 hours for planetary stabilization. Akeno whooped, lightning cracking like confetti. Returned to Kuo dusk. They arrived atop the academy's roof by sunset. Golden light bled over the sports field, making broken festival debris glow like treasure. Student council wards twinkled, self-repairing under Sona's remote scripts. Naruto leaned on the rail, exhaustion finally catching him. Rias pressed her back into his chest, hands over his newly steady heartbeat. Akeno tucked beneath his right arm, purring soft thunder. Kaneko curled at his feet, tail unapologetically visible. Ravel guided Asia and Zenobia toward the kitchens to cook. Victory feast, wagering cupcakes against Hollysword sliced noodles. Sona lingered last, moonlight reflecting off her glasses. Chaos behaves surprisingly well under your rule, she said. Order looks good in a blazer, he answered, tugging her tie until their foreheads touched. She inhaled, intent to quote regulation, but exhaled as his grin rewrote subclause 7b. She departed with a rare, contented smile. Alone almost Naruto felt a ripple behind him. Ophis stepped from a shadow too small to cast a shape. She studied the circle of sleeping chains visible only to those who had touched infinity. Her blank expression softened by micrometers. Eternity approves this iteration. Stick around, Naruto said, offering the starlit roof. Next iteration includes ramen. Acceptable. She settled on the railing like a cat made of midnight and stars, bare feet kicking the air. He closed his eyes, sensing across realms. Kokabile learning humility in Gabriel's choir, Elion recuperating under Asia's daily visits, Michael drafting joint watch protocols with Azazel, Seraphal spamming Rias's fa. Nay with chibi memes of Tyrant Kun and Princess Chan. Even Trihexa, once nightmare, now dreamed children's songs beneath silver-webbed chains. Tomorrow promised paperwork hell, new jealous rivals, maybe an elder god challenging him at chess. Tonight belonged to breath, heartbeat and the quiet laughter of girls who loved a king not because he was unbreakable, but because he let them shape the kingdom with him. Naruto opened his eyes to find the sky dotted with comets, Akeno's storm residue catching solar wind, writing luminous kanji across the heavens, way lie future. He chuckled, show-offs. Rias squeezed his fingers, ours to right. Somewhere downstairs, a pan clanged, Asia yelped, Zenobia cursed, Ravel laughed molten gold. Kaneko's ears twitched at the smell of simmering broth. Akeno hummed harmony to city cicadas. Sona's approval stamp thudded through the open council room window in crisp triplets. Ophis licked a falling star and deemed it sweet. Kingdoms weren't thrones and borders, they were moments like this, friends, rivals, lovers, infinity drinking bubble tea on a school roof at dusk. Naruto breathed deep, felt the world breathe back, and smiled toward a horizon ready to be rewritten 1,000 more times. Chapter 3 End.